de no poder celebrar con su afición. El eco sentito. ¡Mamita querida, qué golazo!
Go! It is July 27, 2017, and this is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast. I am Tim Herb, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts across the table, Kevin Bradley.
What's up, man?
And Dan James.
Going
to blow somebody's eardrums out.
Somebody's furious now.
Yeah. So we've been teasing this all week. We have a special guest in-house, our buddy, Mr. Jay Riddle. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little nervous when you guys had me, meet you at that empty parking lot, and after you put the blindfold on and put me in the van. But
can you blame us?
Well, yeah, it was. Once we got here, though, I feel totally fine. I feel totally fine now.
So what I was operating off with that, just stay with me. My mind's set on that. Animal psychology. You know how whenever you're trying to clip your dog's toenails, it's better to mask
you
them.
actually know this now.
Yeah, I don't. It's better to blindfold them so they don't think about it. They can't see. It's like whenever I get blood drawn.
Jenny, my wife. Tip right here.
I do that with my cats.
Yeah. Whenever I get my
one guy, two cats.
I get my blood drawn. I just look away.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube. If you guys are on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you guys get alerts whenever we go live. If you guys are listening to us on iTunes, thank you as well. Or any podcast format. We are everywhere that you listen to podcasts. Make sure that you leave us a review. And with that, I want to go ahead and get legal obligations out of the way. Kevin, we have a special announcement to piggyback off of my botching. I thought I did a pretty good job of that English accent.
I think you did pretty great.
I kind of stretched the gamut of accents.
I agree.
I don't think
it was a little all over the map, but
I think I had a little Birmingham Midlands accent in there, a little Cockney in there.
I didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
The only thing I can't do is a Geordie accent, right?
That said, it's really good to have Dan back in here.
Well, yeah,
I gotta say
man.
so. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys too.
I'm glad you're here. And Jay, I'm glad you're here.
Jay, that's a WrestleMania t-shirt?
This is my newest one.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm upping the level. I don't know if you guys listen to Soccer Cooligans podcast, but they did me a solid and threw in a question during an interview that they were doing with him on their latest pod. And, just kind of were checking in on him. I tweet at him a little bit. A lot, just
a little bit, a lot.
Pictures of me in this shirt and my dog. And, we had an awkward encounter at the training ground while he was on the tandem bike. And, he said it was cool on my Instagram feed. He was like, don't worry about it. But, you're probably saying, leave me alone. But so I had them check in. He said it's totally fine. So I'm up in the game right now. So I love you, WrestleMania.
Awesome. That'd be amazing if Julian Gressel tuned in.
I think you should. but he's being held prisoner right now by his girlfriend who hates pizza. Did you see this?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love pizza.
In the interview,
stuff my crust.
Yeah, they asked him what his favorite thing about Atlanta is. He said the food, and Alexis on the Soccer Hooligans is a big pizza buff, and he's like, well, I called Atlanta pizza trash, so how's the pizza? He's like, actually, I haven't had any pizza. My girlfriend hates pizza, so I've started a movement. If you guys help me out, show support for Julian, tweet a picture of a pizza at him, hashtag free Gressel, pizza emoji,
right.
And
Pizza
let's start the movement.
Yeah, I was about to say this sounds eerily similar to Pizzagate.
Yeah,
is John Podesta involved in this in any way?
It's only weird if you make it weird.
He just needs to go to Antico then.
That's
by himself.
I think I would love to take him to Antico.
We should take him to Antico.
I love how you guys tag yourself onto this.
Yes.
Whoa, you're on our podcast now, buddy. We will put that blindfold back on you, and you will not see daylight for the rest of this week.
I'm never talking about these things with you guys again.
All right, so to Tim's point, we do have 2 new reviews in similar fashion to Tim last week. Dan, would you like to read this week's reviews?
In your best American accent.
Have to warm up a little.
I wasn't going to ruin it. Now it's spoiled.
Oh,
it's
sorry.
Spoiled.
I ruined
a couple
it.
of softball things. So I found these on YouTube, looking up random Atlanta United videos, and I was lucky to stop by. It was the after show for the 6-1 Listen to Minnesota match. I like these guys. I wish there was a set schedule. So, wow, this is ended badly.
This is awful.
And to when they started and ended the show. These guys really do love Atlanta United and hate Orlando City, just like we do. Keep it, fellas.
And who was that by?
F. Mathurin.
It's our first 4-star, first less than 5-star review.
Not only do you guys hate Orlando, you hate calendars. So
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I mean, that's kind of.
Stop trying to label us, Jay.
It's pretty rude. Don't put us in a box, man.
I would never. I would never.
And second one, Lando Bayo 84. Love the podcast. Keep up the good work. 5 stars.
Short and
Thank
simple.
you.
I like it.
Yeah, it's
It
great.
keeps it.
Oh, and hashtag Orlando. Orlando's not the South.
Oh, that's good. And that was the actual
Variation there.
That was the first title of a review that we've had. That is hashtag Orlando's multiple, not the South.
Yeah, I like it. So I want to clear a few things up. I kind of not really firing shots last night, but on Twitter, I put a couple things out there just because I'm getting so frustrated. I know Kevin is too. I know you guys probably can't tell, and it's probably good and by design which one of us is operating the Twitter account at what time.
If anybody listens
pretty
to the
sure I
show,
can
you can tell who's.
Okay,
Exactly.
maybe so because I don't. It's because I don't swear on social media.
I get shit lit.
So anyway, one of the things. So first of all, as you guys heard in the intro, amazing game. Got the win. Tito just coming through in the clutch with that amazing, pulling that goal out of his butt. And then, but in the lead up to that, so much, in Jay, you've been at the forefront of this. We talked about it last week. There's just been so much shit talk and so much, it's really juvenile stuff from the Orlando crowd. But also one of the things that they keep pointing to that I've heard more from them than anybody else is this whole soccer specific stadium nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is a made up fairy tale thing that only exists in America to justify why your stadium is only 20,000 in capacity or 25,000
Well, have
in
you
capacity.
seen their soccer specific locker room? Like straight out of the YMCA. So I mean, we could. I mean, is that what you want? I mean,
There's plenty of stadiums in Europe who play soccer on, and then they also have like a running track around them.
So this is this to me is soccer hipster. This is such a hipster thing for me to hear.
Yeah.
Because why? First of all, we got contacted about the 2026 World Cup.
I really made 11 alive. It's official now.
No kidding.
So I don't have the.
It's legit news now.
Shit.
Yeah.
No fake news here.
We have Josie. No, who's the? Damn it! Never mind. I don't watch enough local news to really.
Moving on.
We got Bill Dandy on the 11 o'clock news. Anyway, so I don't.
Bill Rather.
You think we could get a weather guy? We could probably get a meteorologist, right?
I get my
Sure.
dad on.
Yeah.
I can call my dad.
Yeah.
Your dad's a meteorologist?
Yeah, but he's
real
like
talk.
a real
Okay,
meteorologist.
we got to
behind
talk
the-
about that later.
No, we're gonna put a green screen up. He will be on the next
yeah.
episode.
Oh, don't worry. I'll get a green screen from work. I'll bring it in.
There's a
Dude.
storm. There's a storm.
All right, here, green screen hookups.
Can we just do weather forecasts for every future game? There's a storm.
Oh, we could make our own. We could make our own live memes. Like, that'd be great.
That would be fantastic.
Oh.
So I don't remember the World Cup, 1994 World Cup venues off the top of my head, but I'm positive one of them was Soldier Field.
yeah.
Right? It's not. They wouldn't play in the current Chicago soccer specific stadium if they came.
No, it's too small.
Okay, LA Coliseum. I think they played in. They wouldn't play in.
Is that the Rose Bowl?
The Rose Bowl? Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah.
remember the 90s? I was a bit of a haze back then. Sorry, guys.
This thing in the late 80s kind of drifted into the 90s. It was called crack cocaine. Anyway, so right, they're not going to play at StubHub Arena, right? They're going to play at the Rose Bowl,
Right.
right? Yeah. So you see where I'm going with this, right? There's no reason other than not being able to sell out a game or fearing that you can't sell out these games at a higher capacity to call it a soccer specific stadium.
Well, especially whenever you have a 25,000 seat stadium that's soccer specific and you still aren't selling it out for arguably one of your biggest games of the season in this Atlanta game that had the amount of hype that it did going into it. You still lost. It was a great game. Don't get me wrong. We'll talk about the game, but
it's a nice stadium. You talk to people that went down there. They
Yeah.
really really thought it was a great venue,
Right.
but you guys have to sell it out.
Exactly.
You're giving us too much.
I feel like
Regardless of how
Too much
nice it is,
ammunition.
if it's not selling out, what point is there whether it's soccer specific or not? You're
That's-
still not selling out
and
25,000.
don't leave at the 87th minute. Like,
They gotta beat that dreaded Orlando traffic.
So
like a bunch of Fulham fans just like peace out.
But this is my point though. The stadiums are wonderful, right? But and that's not the I'm not poking fun at them for that. I
No.
mean, we kind of are, but at the same time, I don't.
I am.
They're bitter, right? I mean, that's the only way I could see it.
I mean, they're
that's-
grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah, they're saying
I
that
feel
we're
like
not
they've
a
been
real.
grasping at straws the whole time. Like I saw one of the tweets was, yeah, well, at least I don't live in a city that's most famous for being burned down. Is that really
I
a
already
put
smacked
down?
that down in 5 seconds. All right,
Right, but-
go burn Orlando down to the swamp. Restart over.
I mean-
come back. You know, I'll try again.
But it's a week.
Yeah.
Is that really something you? Well, yeah, at least I
Well,
don't live in a city that got burned down
it's bad
500
when
years
we're-
ago.
You know it's bad. We're hitting up Wikipedia pages like, what they do in the 1700s? Like,
Yeah.
Well, I actually did that, and they didn't really exist.
Regardless of whether it's soccer specific or not, if you're not winning games in the stadium, what good does it do you?
Right. So to me, this is it's grasping at straws, yes, but it's also so just idiotic to me. I mean, you want to tell me that Seattle Sounders Stadium, CenturyLink Field, just because the Seahawks play there is
No.
right?
Right.
I mean,
Listen, come.
it's no StubHub Arena where the Galaxy
Come
play.
up to the stadium, enjoy our facilities, our $2 Cokes, and $5 beers, whatever, and
have
just
a hot dog.
relax. No one's trolling your stadium
Yeah.
until you started.
And then,
Exactly.
yeah,
Ridiculous rants. I don't understand.
Okay.
Well, again, that's why Tim and I had framed the episode last week in the way that we did, was that regardless of attacking the blatantly obvious about not being able to sell out a 25,000 seat stadium, the fact that you have nothing for culture outside of Disney World, like the jokes make themselves. Let's get soccer specific. And whenever your team has very little outside of a huge signing this week, which may or may not pay off, considering the fact that Kaká signing has relatively not, I'm not as worried. I mean, I'm worried, don't get me wrong. But that said, talking soccer specifics last week, Orlando doesn't have much to shit talk outside of
But
garbage.
their response to that is cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers.
okay.
Cheeseburgers.
the varsity.
Hold on. I have one more rant to go off on Orlando fans, and unfortunately, a handful of
This isn't a rivalry, Tim. I don't know why we're still talking about this.
but
This is a cheeseburger rivalry.
What game is next week? Does anybody care? No. Fuck no, because this is a rivalry at this point.
okay. So I have another rant.
I hope they win this
okay,
week, because then it is an actual rivalry.
another no. Fuck you. No, another BS point that they always bring up, and unfortunately, a lot of Atlanta United fans, at least in the Facebook group, bring up, is this whole idea that it can't be a soccer stadium with a turf field. Oh, there we go.
Was that in the rules?
Mercedes-Benz can be converted. You do know that, right?
Right. They're not going to, though.
No, well, they
It
could.
doesn't make sense to monetarily if you're
No,
going to have
it
football
definitely
and you're
doesn't.
going to have
Well,
soccer
there's
going
questions raised about the World Cup.
I
right?
could see
But-
them doing it for the World Cup. Exactly.
on. Sure, yeah, but
But-
you don't. I mean,
that's for international FIFA tournaments. The one thing, but
But for game-to-game Atlanta United, no, I don't see the
no,
point in
because
that
you
at
need
all.
something that's going to hold up to football and soccer.
At the end of the day, here's where I want to pull it back to. I don't see people for however many years Seattle's existed still tweeting, yeah, but you guys are on turf. I don't hear that.
I'm pretty sure Portland
I'm
is on
only
turf. I
hearing
may
this
be
from
wrong.
Orlando fans about the Mercedes-Benz.
because they have nothing else to dispute or to argue
Go
with.
complain about Montreal or something. I don't know.
Well, whatever.
Or New England. I don't.
Okay, so yeah.
My favorite thing was like before the game, it was all shit talk about how and now they're just, rather than attacking the team, it's all attacking the fan
And that's
base.
the problem with having these matches so back to back, because ordinarily you have peak trolldom,
Yeah,
and then the game's over and it peters off.
Right.
But this has just been a consistent roll.
I don't know why this is a bad
and
thing.
people on both sides are running out of. There's only so many things you could say. So now it's just down to like, F your parking lots, or
Yeah.
you know, your Wendy's isn't as good as ours. Like, I don't know. It's just it's boring. It's
Yeah,
getting
the French-
boring.
The French fries are better
We
in
need to
Orlando.
move on. This
Yeah.
needs
Yeah, it's
Saturday needs to
terrible.
happen so we can.
Whenever I had to look at the dollar amount of the signing yesterday on Twitter, I was like, this is stooped to a
Hold
new
on.
level of investigative reporting for shit talk that I am not prepared for.
I'm still on my rant.
Oh yeah, one note is still up, guys.
Yeah, one. Yes, I actually
It's
did.
because I've been managing the Twitter account for the past 2 days. Tim's got this shit pinned up for days now.
Listen, guys.
Okay.
Bullet points. Bullet points.
some of these teams I'm going to list off are not necessarily big names. If you watch European soccer, you play a lot of FIFA, you'll recognize some of these names, but at least the majority of them are east of the Atlantic. So kind of notable names that have turf fields over in Europe. Spartak Moscow, pretty big team in Russia, right?
Communist.
Yeah.
So they don't count.
So FC Laurent, it's a Ligue 1 side in
FC
France.
Laurent?
Yeah. FC Nordsjælland, which is in Norway. But these are smaller ones, right? Young boys from Switzerland who are usually getting up there. Seattle Sounders, New England Revolution both have turf fields also. But for future turf fields, Hertha Berlin, pretty big team, right? In some of these are kind of, I found conflicting information because they are future stadiums. I think some of it's still up in the air. This came from like stadiumguide.com. Bristol Rovers, which aren't necessarily a huge team, right? But they're usually championship side, right?
They've been up and down, I think.
Yeah. And I'm going to skip over a couple. Dynamo Moscow, so to go back to Russia, Palermo, Cagliari, Anderlecht, Club Brugge, Grasshoppers. Okay, and then the two big ones that come up. And these are the one of them is definitely disputed between Wikipedia and the Stadium Guide site. Atletico Madrid's new stadium is potentially turf.
These are not 1-year-old franchises we're talking about here.
No.
Okay,
Yeah, wait,
we're
no.
talking about, people want to talk about ultras. We're talking about like Moscow, legit, burn your house down if you come at me, bro. You think people are like calling them plastic for their turf?
Yeah, so I want to throw one more back out with you guys, or at you guys. So you want to talk about a team who for the next year is going to be playing in a non-soccer specific stadium, the number 2 team in Europe or in England last year, Tottenham Hotspur.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be playing what in the Olympic Stadium, or they're going to be playing in
No, it's
Wembley?
West Ham. That Tottenham have got a new.
But that's
stadium.
2018 is when it opens.
Plastic.
Oh,
So I can't remember. I know West Ham's got the Olympic Stadium, and
Yeah,
then
they have.
I think Tottenham's going to be playing in Wembley. But Tottenham are going to have a turf field. That's confirmed.
Yeah, Darren Eales gave him the hookup. Be like, I got discounts right here, baby.
So what does this say about you, Orlando? That Tottenham Hotspur has a deal with the NFL to where they're not going to have a soccer-specific stadium because they can pull in another sport to fill that stadium.
Tottenham's still higher ranked in the MLS than Orlando is right now.
Do you think Darren Eales bought too much turf?
Tottenham is still as relevant in MLS playoffs as Orlando is right now.
Okay. I think the
Get that
majority
turf while it's hot.
I do find it but there are a ton of other clubs that have future turf projects, and they're mostly Qatari.
Listen,
Qatari clubs.
I guess we're just so bored of it because we already dealt with like a year and a half of hearing about it from our own fans.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh God. So yeah, let's peel it back. I guess. Sorry, I needed to go on that rant. You're right. I had a pen up last night.
You got another notebook in that one note, or
No.
tab? Or?
No other tab. Yeah, I just didn't want to spoil all of the glee last night from a great win by Baby Morris last night during the Gold Cup final.
Yeah.
that's right.
That was a great putback that he had.
That was fantastic.
He missed that earlier on in the game, skied it, but then he made it the second time.
And then he was also responsible pretty much for the
Yeah.
goal, but he pulled it back.
That's true.
Took on diabetic
Redemption.
brothers.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Kevin. You were chomping at the bit. You want to take it away with last weekend, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
What did it live up to the hype?
Oh, absolutely it did. I can't imagine a better way for the game to go. I mean, regardless, and I've seen this and read this and heard this from even Orlando supporters and supporter podcasts that it was a great game. Despite what side you were on, Atlanta happened to be on the better side of that. And even people that went to the game, I mean, Jay mentioned it, they've got a great stadium, regardless of their shitty comments and irrelevant points about soccer specific or not. Like, was a great stadium. I know there was a lot of complaints about the security measures taken or lack thereof. And the game itself, though, I couldn't ask for any more, especially as an Atlanta supporter. I mean, obviously there's things that you wish were better, but for the lineup that we had, Joseph being out, which side story, Tim and I have a friend, I'm not going to put him on blast, but he actually saw Miguel and Joseph in Hartsfield Jackson the day that they were leaving to Orlando, and he posted a picture with them all doing thumbs up. And I was like, ooh, Joseph's got a boot on. Haven't read that. And then I went to reply to it. Tweet's been deleted.
Oh,
No
and then
way.
he posted
well,
again.
that was nice of him to be
And
like,
then he-
oh, by the way. Yeah.
Well, then he posted it like an hour later with it cropped, saying that he had been reached out to,
Right.
like, hey, let's not
Keep it on DL,
put
bro.
this on blast.
Keep it on the DL.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were kind of like, well, Joseph may or may not be in. The assumption is that he may not be. And so I was definitely more on edge going into that game on the road, knowing Joseph was going to be out. That said, great game.
Yeah, that was before y'all knew Tata threw in inverted wingers. Like, what is happening? We got a false nine going on?
Yeah, exactly. Villalba's going to score from the left side? What?
Oh my goodness. Tata, behave yourself.
We do have a request in the chat. First of all, I didn't realize, sorry guys, how loud it was. I thought that was just my headphones. Jay, we've been asked politely if you would roll up your sleeve.
I'm on the wrong side.
Oh, damn.
No, I get confused.
No,
I get confused.
I put you there specifically, Jack.
This is a nice stretchy WrestleMania shirt. I recommend this too if you want to be able to roll up your sleeves because it's not thick cotton, so you can just roll it up. You don't have to trim the sleeves. I actually ruined a WrestleMania shirt trying to do that. I watched a YouTube video. Did not work, by the way.
It's not a WrestleMania shirt if you can't rip it off.
Yeah, that's true. This is rippable.
So do you? We've all seen the Atlanta
I have
United.
27. I
We've
know.
all seen the Atlanta United scarves, but is there a Atlanta United boa? That's the real question.
Oh,
that's
Okay,
what really
hold on.
needs to be made for a
Hold on.
WrestleMania.
Hold on a second. We did say last week that we would not set up a Patreon or we wouldn't set up a Venmo. But if you guys would like us to produce WrestleMania Atlanta
Tanks.
United boas,
Tanks and boas.
yeah, we will set up a Patreon for that. Just let us know.
I approve this message.
No, it's fantastic. A lot of chatter in there about Fast Pass sucking. I guess getting down to the stadium.
Is this Fast Pass? What is that?
I don't
wasn't
know.
down there, guys, so I don't know these things.
Oh, that's from North Carolina. Isn't that North Carolina? Like the speed pass, like the
I
Peach
thought it was called the
Pass.
Sun Pass in Florida.
Yeah, but Fast Pass is like North Carolina. I think.
Oh, all right.
So if they're getting
Context,
down,
guys. Because I know they got the Sun Pass down there. The tolls are ridiculous, but
Yeah, I mean, they got to pay for those shitty roads.
That's all there is. in
they
Orlando
always
is
keep
roads.
sinking into the
Yeah,
swamp.
no.
So it's hard.
So Dan, you weren't here last week. You know, I want to hear.
I was not.
You got a notebook full, and I don't know if it's just this week or the past two that you filled it up with. So, what were your thoughts about the game?
Oh,
this week?
Fast Pass is at Disney.
Oh, I know what you're
Relevant.
talking about. I've only done
Relevant.
this once.
Relevant.
I know. I still got the overpriced bracelets that you can recharge or whatever the next time you're down there. So.
And just a
Relevant.
side note, I really love how Austin Harris in the chat was calling him Goose Man. It is
Yes.
just
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys brought that up. I just kind of totally forgot about that. Good. I think you were wishing people forgot. Now let's just bring it back up. Like who's Guzman? Who's Guzman? Like did we have a trade? Did we get Guzman?
I will continue that trend until the end of days.
After his performance last week, you call him Guzan.
Fair
You'd
enough.
even correct yourself. Be like,
No.
oh, hold on. I'm going to stop myself. I just said Guzman, and then continue to say Guzman.
no. He went from being Guzman. Now after that performance,
To
he's a Goose Man.
Just go to Gooseman.
No shit.
It's like a blend between Goose and Iceman. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the game was pretty even. Orlando definitely have lacking some scoring power in the final third, but we seem to every time we would get in front of the goal, they would just stack these defenders and cut out all the short little passes we were trying to do. Every time we would get close to the 6-yard box, we'd have 3 guys flying in there. So plus Assad could have got a hat trick this game, but his finish was just so weak. It was like he was really tired or something. So I thought it was pretty even. Are we going to do positives and negatives?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go into that.
Yeah. Unless, Jay, you got any overarching thoughts about the game going into it before we start diving into specifics?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a comeback with Tito's hair. I think it'll perform much better.
Dude went Super Saiyan, right?
Wait, no.
That humidity just destroyed
I need a gif of him whenever he scores, like whenever he does the charge up.
That dude puts like concrete in his hair. Like that was some wicked humidity.
No, he was already Super Saiyan. I think he went Ascendant.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah, there's been some good memes going on with that.
Yeah. No. Peel it back. We're going to talk about last week's game. Thoughts going into last week's game.
Mm-hmm.
So you work in a similar field to me, right? I mean, you do software consulting. Is that right?
Yeah, I used to do consulting. Now I'm full time at a aero defense contractor.
Okay. Yeah. So to me, and you maybe you agree with it. I didn't mean to hijack, but it felt like to me whenever you have a big looming project that you're waiting to push the button to send out.
I will say I was more keyed up on Friday than I can remember this season.
I think I'm more so this week.
Really? I don't know. I kind of let out enough steam or whatever, but yeah, Friday I was so keyed up. I just went to a watch party over at Cheeky's, which funny enough, it's in Sandy Springs. I found out like while I was there that apparently Tata and 7 players live right next to it.
Really?
All the time. So
No way.
I'm like, oh, interesting. No, I don't know if Gressel though. I didn't hear if Gressel was going, but and so I went over there and it's just it just felt like until Tito hit that, it's like I felt like Tito said it all for everybody, like all the energy, the anticipation, and he's like, enough, and like put it all into that ball. And so, the only thing I took away was at the end of the day, even with all the banter and the hype and everything else, the match, I guess I thought it'd be actually a lot more intense in the second half. I thought it'd be slow in the first half, and then the guys would all find their legs. So I was actually, I don't know if it was the heat, the community, just coming off a 2-week break. I was a little disappointed. I was frustrated. I remember being frustrated during the second half. But other than that, I was really satisfied with the result. I thought, I'm now with this inverted winger thing. And, I don't know what to expect on Saturday. I'm even more baffled or puzzled. We're going to have Dwyer come into the equation potentially. They're saying. So, yeah, anyways.
We can't talk about Dom Dwyer until we finish this game.
I'm excited. I thought it lived up to his expectations. I think Fox got the good end of the stick here getting this broadcast.
Yeah.
So
on a Friday night, you can't ask for a better game in the league right now.
Yeah.
Especially this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, there's no better game coming up this weekend.
The only thing is, can ESPN and Fox hire whether it was a Telemundo or whoever that guy was at the beginning of the intro? Can we hire him to do the match? Oh my goodness,
I would watch that.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. I wouldn't hit the SAP button on that. I don't want the English broadcast. I want the Spanish broadcast for that.
Yeah.
So Tim, what were your overall thoughts before we get into positives and negatives?
Overall thoughts. I thought we looked flat. I thought as a whole,
Tito's hair.
I thought we controlled a decent amount of the
Aside
game.
from that, I think we opened up really aggressive.
I think so too, but at the same time, I felt like
to Jay's point, I think we did fall flat in that second half.
Yeah, overall, I think we were flat in that game.
We were still, there was a lot of nerviness about it. We weren't connecting passes together properly like we're used to seeing. And to their credit, Orlando were like they came out trying to do the high press, and then they kind of just fell off. But they were just sitting back to play on the counter. And Rivas, dear God, that guy is fast. So I'm not looking forward to the next game. I think Higuita was their man of the match. He was fantastic. I'd love to get him on our team. And Jonathan Spector had a really good game as well. If it wasn't for Brad Guzan, we'd have lost that game. That's the thing.
It's easy to forget
3-1.
After the match, to go back and look at some of those counters.
Yeah,
and the
even
pace.
Kaká, he would He outran Lorenowitz on that, but luckily, my man of the match and my new crush, Michael Parkhurst.
You guys are getting. You didn't even let Tim give his comments on the game, and now we're talking about man of the match.
Hey, what about Walks was the one to shut down Kaka at the end?
I mean, Walks is fucking beast mode, and especially considering his salary. Talking
Kaka
to our
spinning
list.
circles, doing tricks. Walks is like, all right.
I was getting deep into the numbers.
You do that, old man.
Sorry, Tim.
I had Excel spreadsheets for salaries and shit this week, trying to clarify shit, talking to Orlando fans, and then seeing Anton Walks' salary just made me really depressed considering how well he played last week.
Well, yeah, no, one of the things I was going to say with Walks and with Assad and with Garza, I don't know how much of their salary we pay.
That's true.
I don't know how the loan system
That's
works with them coming over to the MLS, but a lot of times home clubs will pay or parent clubs will help pay for their salary.
Right, yeah.
Unless you see some like 28-year-old bust that Liverpool sends out on loan that's just
comes to Birmingham.
Yeah.
So Tim, what are continue your overall thoughts for the game?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I mean, we talked about getting excited to see Brad Guzan.
Yes, that's a big talking point for me. That's a big positive for me.
Absolutely.
I think everybody is going to be a big positive on that.
Has the gift of gab. I love it because it fills that vacuum. I talked a little bit about it in Soccer Down Here. It kind of fills that vacuum that people were kind of pegging Parkhurst for that lack of discussion at the back, and Lorenowitz is too far outfield sometimes. He's that other drill sergeant,
right? Exactly.
And you could see it when he has played further back. You see him talking, but we needed that, and I don't see anybody else. I mean, Can did us well through the season, but I don't see anyone else between the sticks moving forward.
No, I don't either.
No,
and I haven't heard anybody questioning it. To be honest,
I don't
for that match.
I don't think you'll find three bigger proponents of Alec Can during his stretch outside of maybe the first game and maybe some of the Minnesota game because I was still a little harsh on him.
He's one of our own, baby.
Yeah, but the three of us have been staunch proponents of his. But at the same time, a perfect time for him to get injured for Atlanta United. Worst time imaginable for him.
Could be the last time we see Can in Atlanta United jersey.
Yeah, right now, the way I think that Rainish proved himself to be a serviceable backup and that Can proved to himself that he could be a future starter for someone. And unfortunately, the way that the money's getting thrown around, I mean, with Dom Dwyer, I mean, Alec Can's not going to command that kind of money. Or, maybe we can go out and get some sort of depth in a trade. But I think it's probably
there are thousands of people Googling Tam and Gam right now after that Dom Dwyer. They're like, us geeks have learned about it or try to learn about it to the best extent we can. But after that, people are like, what's happening?
Unless he goes as part of the expansion draft.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then we just get compensated by the league.
So how much of
like the front office traded like each other's trading card collections and
that's right.
Like what's that? Like
what's getting to Pokemon territory?
The stick of stipulations and things he has to do apparently that are supposedly going to be pretty easy for him to meet that.
And also, I think it depends on the angle of the sun and where the moon's
right. Yeah, get out your spreadsheets, boys.
So we got a couple comments from YouTube. Kevin Brown talking about having the coming back from break jitters. I definitely think that had a big part in that they were off for almost 3 weeks.
How flat we were.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That Miggy's touch wasn't crisp. I think we saw a shot late at the end of the first half and in the middle of the second half, both of them just slightly off, slightly undertouched that made it through the wall of defenders, but just weren't quite where you wanted to see it.
The only through balls I saw was going through is when we'd have these quick flicks, like we'd have these heel flicks. Otherwise,
are you talking about whenever Tito was onside, but they called him offside?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Assad as well.
Well, and I think that's why we saw it go inverted because I don't know if this is the reason, but we just were not seeing any progress going down the wings, crossing in. So why not switch these guys in their feet and just start, coming and leaning towards the center. I don't know. That's what seemed to happen. But
well, Assad's inverted anyway.
Right.
And he did not have a good first half. He just wasn't pulling anything together. Sutter had the best of him, I think.
Does he have the worst shot on our team?
Assad,
yeah.
Aside from Almiron's attempt at a right foot.
No, yeah, right.
We saw Almiron touch the ball with his right foot for the first time this season this week, I think, and we now all understand why he doesn't do so.
No, but what I'm saying is there's a reason he leads in assists. His shot's not great.
No, it's not.
No, but it should be better than what it was.
Yeah,
Listen,
I
I'm
agree.
just happy that, he didn't get frustrated with himself and just punch someone in the face or
That's
elbow
right.
someone in the ear.
So to that point, I mean,
he just got kicked in his face himself.
That's true.
true. So a couple of weeks ago, we made that same point about Villalba, and when he gets frustrated, his shots tend to be wildly off target, and that he gets in his own head and gets frustrated. And then we see the game against Orlando, where that exact same scenario plays out, where he's yelling and arguing with Bendick and borderline of getting a card, where the ref is standing right there and he just will not let it go. Parkhurst doesn't get involved, and then he comes up with this shot that is just unbelievable. That was the thing that stood out to me, where literally 2 weeks ago we're having the conversation about how he gets frustrated if he's not on target and just doesn't, like, he seems to either hone as it goes on, like he either starts out off target and slowly gets more and more on, or the opposite tends to be true. And so to see that shot, the way it played out and everything else, it just was a punctuation mark on that game, I thought, from his perspective especially.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say I agree with that. And I also think that it may help with the season going forward now that Peterson's back. Some of these guys, they're just going to have a bad day and they're going to need a break.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we're going to need that depth.
We're going to see a lot of that in September.
Yeah, so now that
September is
Peterson's
going to be
back,
awful.
it hopefully will relieve some of the
So
pressure.
Peterson is back?
Yeah, so that was just announced
today,
this morning.
Yeah. Because Martino
but
Tata said that Joseph is
Yeah.
definitely not going to be playing Saturday, but that Peterson
apparently
is
he just had a
eligible.
really hard time. Every time he'd start to get back in action with his calf, he'd feel a pull in his calf again and be right back to square one. So he said he's feeling pretty good according to the news. No fake news here, baby.
No, all real news.
All reels with a C.
So we have an interesting comment. I want to get your guys' opinion on this from Liam. He said, guys, I think Leandro Gonzalez-Perez can be a great holding midfielder.
Really?
He certainly plays more midfield than defender, I think.
I mean, he likes to go forward.
No kidding. No kidding.
So I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty. I think an interesting debate.
I think he could definitely move into potentially a Carmona role.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
How tall is LGP compared to Carmona?
I think he's 6
taller.
foot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's about average size center back.
LGP, he's a ball player and he can do a stupendous slide tackle when he needs to.
Yeah.
Stupendous.
He can also track back. So his weakness that I think we've all agreed on is sometimes his positioning on set pieces, getting back in the line.
Maybe Kuzan will get him in line.
I hope so.
Or overextending himself. I've just seen him run the ball upfield far past where he should be. And whenever he's under pressure, he seems to take off rather than play the ball off. And I don't want to see that out of a defender as much as what I would want to see out of a midfielder. And I've seen him do that more times than I'm comfortable with. Is that because then it leaves the defense exposed rather than him playing the ball off or dropping it back, that he just runs straight into it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that I think it's a strength of his that he's able to move up the field.
No, I think
that the Lorenowitz, Parkhurst, and Garza or Carmona or someone.
Well, thank God for Lorenowitz. That's the benefit, is that having
when he
Lorenowitz
needs
to
to
get
do that.
back is
He's got the
definitely
line
benefit.
to back him
I
up
agree
while
with
he
that.
gets back into position.
Right.
But it's going to be interesting to see what the formation is. I mean, part of me is like, on Saturday there's not going to be many surprises. But could we see Vasquez up front? I mean, I know towards the end we had Vasquez on the wing. Tito kind of went on the left where Assad was. Miguel was his false nine. Is that something we're going to see deployed at the beginning of the match? Or is maybe Vasquez somebody that can come in right in that striker role?
Well, it was really effective, wasn't it,
Yeah.
at the end of the match? Potentially Vasquez could start over Gressel, though I feel like
I would not want to see that.
every time, I think Gressel's
a power,
good
but
game.
he's so powerful off the bench too, though. I mean,
Exactly.
when that energy comes in when people are running down and the Gresselmania comes out
That's right.
play.
I just see more longevity out of Gressel than I do out of Vasquez personally.
Really?
That longevity over 90 minutes?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Exactly, over 90 minutes. I see Vasquez as a better sub than Gressel.
But we've only ever seen Vasquez for like 30 minutes max. I think.
No, he played the full, all of the cup games he played, or several of the cup games. I think he played the full 90, right?
He did.
I thought he did.
I
I could be talking out of my ass.
I don't have enough information.
I could be
with that.
Vasquez against Charleston Battery played the entire 90 minutes.
Yes,
but at the same time, it's gonna be. We're gonna start to see rotation.
Yeah.
They're gonna go on the road here in August, like all of August.
September is just gonna be
every starts to get
every 3
crazy,
days, literally every 3 to 4 days we have.
I don't know. I just feel like Tata's starting to. He's had a lot of time on the training ground now.
Like I
to
mean,
play around with some of these tactics. So
as far as the Gressel Vasquez debate goes, I don't think you change what's working. And Gressel starting against Orlando on the road, I think warrants him a start at home against Orlando. Yeah. I could make the debate for Vasquez starting and then a late sub for Gressel if Joseph's in September or whatever. But right now, the way the team is playing with Gressel starting in that position, I think you start Gressel over Vasquez. That's my opinion. I just haven't seen enough out. I haven't seen enough out of Vasquez to warrant a starting role over Gressel in that role. That's my.
Okay, I could see it that way.
But if Joseph's in, that's a different conversation. But with Joseph out, I think
I thought Gressel was pretty ineffective last week. He didn't do anything, and it wasn't until Vasquez came on and they did all that shifting that we're able to get a little bit of daylight. So,
do you guys want to talk about how Dwyer might change the? I mean, are we going to react? Tata seems to play his game. And then like to make changes according to the game, right? I never see us setting up to play reacting to the team.
No. Well, especially
now that
I think that's what
we never play a team like this back to back. Right. Did we play NYCFC back to back?
No. This is the first game this season we played back to back.
And so is this a time where you say, okay, potential Kyle Aaron Dwyer combination? We know that that their coach likes to play in a diamond if he can. I don't know if that would be even achieve that yet. It's too soon with Dwyer coming in. And
so because what do you do with Kaká and Rivas at that point, right? Because they're both attacking midfielders,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, because you looked at last match, Kaká was. I mean, he just was tanked. I mean, that guy was just felt like he was creating all of the magic for them at the time on that left side. I think that's. I don't think that they're going to want to. I don't know. Dom Dwyer is going to change it somehow. Dom Dwyer.
Okay, so Orlando only have one win in their last 7-8 games.
Right.
So if I'm Orlando, I'm going for it.
Right.
I got to bring everything to this. So
I absolutely. And I think this hire definitely puts them in a position to do so.
Yeah, and it is interesting though. How does Dwyer affect their formation? Because I think Barnes wasn't too bad. Rivas has got speed, but I'm not sure about his composure.
I thought Giles Barnes was pretty terrible.
You did?
Yeah, I don't think he's a threat.
So would you take him off and put Laren and Dwyer up front?
Yeah.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Talking about Giles Barnes.
Oh, you just don't like his name, Giles. Giles. That guy's trash. You seen him play in that public? Boy's lost. Don't know where he's going.
So
I think I'm just remembering that one strike he had, and then he got shut down by Parker.
So before we get into the Dwyer, Tim, positives and negatives, or positives at least, because we haven't really done negatives yet. So
no, Guzan's performance, to me, he was man of the match.
MVP, baby. Yeah.
And then
Walks close second for me.
Walks was pretty great. But also Tito being able to shake the jitters, or not the jitters, or the frustration and channel it.
I think the back line in general for me was great. Parkhurst edging out a couple of times.
He was edging the whole time.
He was just so edged.
So edgy.
Just ready for it. Just on the cusp. And then just...
By the way, those watching, put in the chat, did anybody go meet Parkhurst and all of them? Tell us what happened with that. Because we're here for you.
But yeah, I think
that
that was the concern for everyone going into this game, at least for me too, was the size of Orlando and Atlanta's vulnerability on set
The
pieces.
size of Kyle Aaron's giant arm cast flask.
And the size of his tolerance. his
waving it around.
His ability to
But we weren't good
clubbing
on set
people with
pieces.
just drink.
To be twice the legal limit and still like be able to
Zad's
walk.
like, what are you doing over on this side of the pitch, man? You're on the wrong side. Where are you at?
So
Dan,
I think
I feel like I keep cutting Dan off.
Yeah, stop cutting me
Yeah,
off.
shut up, Dan.
Dan's hardly a part of this podcast anymore.
That's true. I didn't think we were good on set pieces. I was
Aside from
Guzan.
exactly. That was my point.
Right,
was
exactly,
that
but it
he
takes-
filled the void.
but it takes miracle saves from him to
True.
keep us from not being
Yeah, he's
2-0
also a
down.
center back. You didn't know that.
Exactly.
But he's got the ability to punch that no other player has. And
That's
so
true.
That's like a
He did
superpower that no other player has. Which, whenever, like, look, being in position's one thing for Atlanta's defense, right? Especially on the set piece.
Right.
But you can't overcome a size deficiency. The one way you can do that is by using your hands. And I think
I don't know. I
that's
know
what-
websites
No, you
that
can-
tell me
you
I
just
can
make a
overcome my
play.
size deficiency if I just go to the link. Yeah.
talking about Kickstarters and
But if you're on a set piece, you don't let two guys just go three and try and play them offside on a set piece.
True.
But we've seen this consistently with
Absolutely.
our backside. Guzan. But we've seen that consistently where whether it's walks right shoulder to shoulder with his man, ball watching, waiting to the last minute to try and get in there,
Right.
or LGP's a little off position. And I don't know, Guzan can talk, but he can't fix all of this for us, right?
Sure.
So,
Right.
and we will get punished on one of those.
well,
Or
especially,
Guzan's on, if Guzan's bodied or something happens, he can't get the ball, we're going to get punished. This could have easily been, with the way I was watching the match, I was like, we're coming away with a point. Like, they're either going to score a
Yeah.
goal and maybe score a goal.
yeah.
But if Guzan doesn't save that ball, it's 1-0 Orlando, completely different game.
Yeah.
It just seemed to me that the defense and Guzan were far more on their toes and present in that game than the offense was.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's
I
the
totally
positive
agree
to
with
me, and that was the concern going into that game. And I think that's still a big concern for Atlanta in general. Is the set pieces, is the defense, but for that game specifically, that was one of the things that we wanted to see Guzan play a role within this team, is commanding that back line, being present during set pieces. And you can't get taller. Your players can't get taller. And whenever you're undersized by 4, 5, 6 inches on defense versus the offensive striking power of Orlando, having somebody to come out and play position to punch the ball out on several corners makes that difference. And I don't know that Can necessarily makes those saves or commands that back line the way that Guzan did.
Can I just say I'm excited, by the way, looking at the live chat, seeing faces I've never seen before.
Absolutely.
Four names.
Absolutely. I agree
Kahan.
completely.
I know Joe, Patrick, we interact with each other on Twitter. I don't know that I've seen your name in there before, but and then Liam, Kahan, and then the wavy one.
Those are my paid followers that I've seen on Instagram.
Yeah, they're probably just
Wow.
here to see Jay.
Yeah.
Between you and Dan. So now we've got you and Dan paying people. That's great.
Yeah. I have 800,000 followers on my Instagram account that I bought yesterday. Bring it.
Well, that's what we do, isn't it? We just buy things, right?
We just buy things.
Exactly.
You plastic vinyl
just,
fans.
just so plastic.
It's interesting that the perception of time, like if you take longer to do something, that's supposed to
by
be
the
the
way,
right
guys,
way.
I have a surprise for
You
you.
take longer.
Wait, what?
I
Wait,
almost
what?
forgot. I have a surprise for you guys. Hold on. So listen. I made the 2 poll. And what I mean is I went to
I'm
Home
so
Depot
turned-
and I saw I have
It's
2
just-
right.
PVC pipes. And
You're
I
talking
used a
about 2
coupon.
polls.
Because you're about value.
I'm on board.
Right. But I took it to heart that, maybe I'm not passionate enough.
Well,
about it.
no Atlanta United fan is
And
passionate enough.
I didn't know own a sewing machine.
Plastic.
And I didn't know, where to go buy thread or all that
Plastic.
stuff.
What do you and
So-
C4 have in
so-
common? You're both plastic.
So instead of bringing the banner to the match,
No way.
I made this with my hands. And
Hold on. Let me take it. I'll go hold it up to
I
the
hear
camera.
you. I just want to tell all you ultras
Yeah.
out there that I respect I respect your criticism, and I don't want to let our team down. So I've created a banner with my own hands.
Oh, even
and I signed it for you guys.
Oh wow!
This is for you.
It's
There's only one copy. You can see I actually, that I'm a legit, passionate fan, because I realized early in that I wouldn't have enough room if I did the thick letters.
Right.
But I didn't make another. I just left it because that's how passionate I am. I'm like, you know what?
I respect the trust you have in this organization to sign this and leave it in our.
I didn't even trace that. I just imagined what a used condom would look like, and I just drew that. Just a big used condom right there.
Just a big meaty chode on the bottom of the continental.
I love you, trolls. I love you.
We better put that in the safe deposit box because it might get stolen.
Yeah, it might get stolen.
I'll be sure to frame this one, and we'll keep it in the studio for sure.
Yeah,
we'll forever treasure this, Jay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think this is a new Home Before Dark tradition now that every guest has to bring a gift that is hand.
Listen, I just think this is a lesson for all the people that troll us about being plastic. Is you just have to give us a chance. We're learning. we're all learning here.
But why didn't you support the Silverbacks?
So
wait. Is this a soccer specific drawing? I can't tell.
Listen,
what are the dimensions?
But look
you
at
should just be happy I had a purple pen.
Just
right?
look at I mean, the effort alone of filling in this full space, like
With a pen.
He didn't go wide Sharpie. I mean, ballpoint pen to fill in this massive
first try.
Just
First try.
This dangling disgrace of the United States that is Florida.
And it's mostly within the lines.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, there was some definite effort taken in this.
Yeah.
As an architect, I think we can both appreciate the care and the
geographical accuracy.
It's great. I'm really psyched about this. And it was 2 days ago. I mean, the forethought that went into this. Even.
I hope Twitter recognizes
Let's just put this
that
out there.
I am a man. I admit when I have been schooled, and I am willing to turn a page and say, you know what? I will follow your lead. If this is how you do it, I want to do it the right way.
So you've got your 2-pole, which is a similar graphic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scan this and bring my own. That is just.
I almost did it on a napkin and attached straws to it.
I love that it's in purple ink. More like the thought that went into not only making the divider of the rest of the United States in black ink, but to fill in Florida in purple. There's a lot of thought and heart that went into this, Jay.
I'm telling you.
So plastic.
I don't want this to take away from what all you do.
To be so plastic, you're surely melting my heart. That's what I'm going to say.
This is just me being a humble fan supporting my team.
Well, guess what? Real recognize real.
Real recognize real.
That is not plastic. It's literally not.
This is literally made out of trees.
That's right.
I feel like we're gonna have to start having an extra show during the week. Anyway, yeah.
Can we call it the Oops Hour? Like
the Oops Hour sounds amazing.
Yo, did you check out them Oops?
Oops Before Dark.
Oh, I stick around for the Oops.
Oops comes after dark. After dark.
Stay tuned for Home After Dark.
Yo,
Oops.
Real fans, stick around for them Oops.
All right, so negatives. We've talked a lot about the positives. What were your negatives in the Orlando game?
I just think a lack of cohesion. I don't know. Just overall, I can't really pinpoint one person I was really that down on. It just seemed like everybody as a whole, aside from.
Yeah, I don't think there are many negatives. I think it's overthinking it to dive too deep into it, especially the whole situation around it, coming off 2 weeks break. 2 teams never played each other. Playing in a hostile environment. By the way, here's my growing theory. If you guys watched it on TV, I had to take like an extra bit of halftime break to adjust my eyes. There was so much purple.
It's gross.
I mean, for real.
It's
Like that
gross.
stuff hurts after a while. Like they are literally stabbing their opponents' fans and the players' eyes and like, yeah, try to beat us with this. Like you won't be able to see by the 70th minute, biatch.
Well, that's how you cover up the empty seat.
Well, that's true. They do paint their seats purple, which I'm sorry, you could talk soccer-specific stadium. Once you do that, you've lost all credibility.
Yeah.
When you painted the color of your kit to mask the amount of people flooding out of the gates after a goal's been scored on them.
Yeah. So to Tim's point earlier about seeing new faces, Tigerman 1114 says, when Joseph doesn't get to play, that's my only true negative. But even then, the way that Atlanta recovers and plays, it still turns into a positive.
Actually, no, you know what my biggest positive is? Clean sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, everybody likes some clean sheets.
It's what, the third one in the last 4 games? Is that right?
It is, Tim.
It is, Tim. Wow, you came prepared. That is a home before dark first.
It's a first. You hear it first.
We're not even cleaning sheets no more. We're putting in the dryer sheet now. We're like graduated. We're like, I'm gonna put the dryer sheet in there and make it smell nice. Hey, Kuzan, go get us the clean sheets out of the dryer.
So I want to.
Yeah, that's the third no mirrors clean sheet, as Kevin Brown has noted.
Yeah, did you hear Taylor Torman on the call saying,
Nobody
man,
hears Taylor Torman.
they need to get Tyrone Mears back in because Anton Works hasn't
Maybe
been
Twelman should
delivering.
pay attention so he doesn't miss the goal call.
A fucking man.
Goal! Learn, bitch. Stop tweeting during the cast. Jesus, I see you. Everybody sees it.
I agree completely. All right, so I think that gets us through the game. Thoughts going into this game? Dom Dwyer. That's the big one.
You know what?
How much does Orlando spend next week after a second loss to Orlando is my
I don't know, but you know he likes some bow ties, so you know he's going out and buying like 100 bow ties. with all that money.
You know what the thing is?
All purple. All purple, everything.
Before we get to the Dom thing real quick, can I just say, pulling it back about like some of this stuff about Dom returning. He was, he brought the championship. He's going back home. And I'm like, wasn't he like on loan for 6 months, like at the USL? Like, I mean, it's not like this boy was homegrown.
No, he was drafted.
Orlando, this is not like they got one of our own chants going on.
He got drafted by Sporting KC.
And some of this, and this is the news media, okay? More fake news. We're grilling it right now. We're taking down the fake news. No, that's nonsense. This is ridiculous. And then his wife, I love how his wife tweeted, and I think she was tongue-in-cheek. I think she's actually probably feels about it. This is the first thing I thought about, right? There's another woman athlete that's got a follow her boy over to wherever he goes. She's a KC still, right? She tweeted out something today about, the next time, when's my husband going to follow me over to wherever I go? And I'm like, like, is she joking? Is she not joking? Putting the heat on. So anyways, I just got to put that out there.
There's been talk of the Atlanta having a women's team.
That's right. Yep.
Maybe she could come play for us.
We're supposed to get an announcement either at the end of this year now about that. They pushed it.
We've had it. We've had women's teams.
Yeah.
One of my friends played for the Atlanta Beat.
Is that Atlanta 2018 Twitter account? Whatever they're doing they want to do the women's and an NASL and a women's NASL. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways. Well, I mean, they did have that, right? The NWSL. I mean, we had the Atlanta Beat that played up in Kennesaw, and
there's a lot of cities like we had that.
Yeah, no, we have history. We have USL titles. The Pacers had
if
ABA
you ain't got
titles.
A team shut down, plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic.
We've got an under 16s national championship title.
We have more silverware in the MLS than Orlando does.
But is it made out of plastic?
I don't know. I hope they sprung. I know it's a U16
plastic
title.
Wear. I don't know. But anyways, continue the Dom. I'm sorry.
No, hold on. The wavy one has a serious question. McGregor or Mayweather? It's Mayweather. I want McGregor. It's going to be Mayweather. But anyway.
I think it's going to be Mayweather.
We actually talked about that a lot on the last episode. Episode 109 of Home Before Dark, the main show.
Search Home Before Dark. We have a sister show. Tim and I. We talked about that.
Who's your sister, yo?
I don't want to disclose that information.
No, we're not talking about this.
So Dom Dwyer. So to go, he was one of my favorite players to watch in the MLS. He has had an off year in terms of goal scoring production, but he is still magnetic. He still is very much I feel like he's very instinctive on the ball. I think that he does a great job involving other people, and I thought that he played really well in Kansas City. I hope that doesn't translate over to Orlando. Maybe I hope his goals per game right now transfers to Orlando, but
just not this week.
I would like to see how he coexists with Kyle Larin.
That's the thing. Does he coexist with Kyle Larin? Because I'm seeing conflicting. It's funny. I've got like the Brutiful Game, that podcast. Those guys are like, oh, they'll compliment each other. Great. Then I'm seeing other guys coming out saying, nah, same for same. Like,
Kyle Larin's he's a target man, right? He's a number 9.
I mean, Dwyer can create in lanes somewhat, but I mean, I don't know. It's really going to be interesting. This is going to be the big question mark, I think, for the game. Like,
well, I mean,
our formation is probably locked down.
Look, so I think that there is a positive and negative going into this game. That it is the first game for Dwyer, and that's both a positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Orlando and Atlanta, neither of which know how Dwyer fits into that squad, and I think that's both a positive and a negative for both
teams. Did he get
teams.
a Tuesday night or Wednesday night when they had like 400 purple people out there?
Purple people leaders.
I mean, because the amount of training time is minimal with the team.
So I see him coming in. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing is how does he plug into this formation and this squad to come into a game?
And that's where you have to think it's to go for it. Like, why not?
Yeah.
It's not like we have time to train.
Well, considering
and we don't have time to keep it simple. We bought this guy to make it to the playoffs.
Absolutely. And that's where Orlando is as a team right now, is that we are well into the second half of the season, and they've got to produce results. And the one way to do that is to plug him in out the gate. And on the road against Atlanta, I think that there's a lot of unknowns from both sides of the pitch, and I don't know that that's necessarily just a negative from Atlanta's standpoint, just based off of his performance with other teams. It's that Orlando doesn't know how he's going to fit into that team any more than Atlanta does at this point.
Yeah, they're just going to have to put him in situations where they can throw something into the mixer and he can get on it, or he can just be fed from the players behind him.
That said, I think that Atlanta's deep better equipped, at least after this last game, to play against that, because that was such a between Guzan and that back
poacher,
line.
Man, if we can relegate the wings from these crosses whipping in, but the problem is set pieces.
Right.
These set pieces. Now I'm like, oh, Dom's in the box. Like,
but it's like another Wando.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was
like, this guy will punish you first time.
Right.
I just think you just kind of got to stick a man on him and make sure he's covered.
So what do you do?
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
You just mark him with Carmona or with Lorenowitz?
I would not be opposed to that whatsoever.
Or LGP.
I wouldn't necessarily put Lorenowitz on him, just because Lorenowitz seems to have a little bit more awareness about,
because he's a giant Viking.
No kidding.
Man.
I think he seems to have a little bit more awareness in midfield to backfield positioning. I think you position Carmona to be on him the entire game, and then you let Lorenowitz float. That would be my position.
Who do you feel is more dangerous, Dwyer or Larin?
I think they pose different threats. I would say that Dwyer is more dangerous in the way that he involves other teammates.
I'll say Larin lost his mojo after this DUI, and it was probably headed that way before then.
Oh yeah, his
now
production
you've got
dropped.
So this is going to be interesting to see how Larin reacts to this. If he gets on the pitch, is he the kind of guy where this is like a wake up call for him, and he's like, oh man, I'm really going to show Dom what I can do. I'm going to, we'll partner, I'll talk to him. We could partner well together. We're going to, I'm going to really show him, step it up. I got to snap out of this fuzz. Or is he going to wilt?
So I think
like
we've got
Tito's hair in Orlando.
Right. So I think we've got that twofold, right? Where we saw Guzan come out, play an incredible game against Orlando. I think we've got that now with Kyle Larin and Dwyer, both of them coming in with something to prove in this game. And I think as long as you can body one of them, I would think that Dwyer poses a little bit more of a dangerous threat.
Well, he's an unknown quantity.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly. That would be my position.
There's no tape watching him play with these boys.
Correct. So I think you put a body on Dwyer and you just make sure to cover Larin if he's in the vicinity, and you've just got to play your position. And luckily, having Anton Walks in the backfield at least puts you in a better position to do so, where you're not being stretched thin with Mears back there.
So we have a viewer, Orbi1 Kenobi, who's saying in terms of bigger threat, he said our set pieces, Kyle Aaron is the bigger threat. But since Anton Walks has gotten into that right back position, we haven't been that bad on set pieces anymore, defending set pieces.
Yeah, I think we've gotten lucky a couple times where if the ball was thrown in better, Anton may have lost his mark. But yeah, it's been much better than with Mears. And
Absolutely.
Parker, but that means nothing without Parker stepping up his game the last few games and just really pulling it together and becoming consistent.
I think all of that
consistency.
But I think again, and I made this point a couple of weeks ago, I think the ability for that entire defensive line, Parkhurst, LGP, everyone to be in position, it takes Anton Walks being in position as well to have.
I just love we're talking about defense. I mean,
exactly.
For the first half of the season, we're like, no
kidding.
Let's talk about Miguel Alvarado.
No kidding. So to see, I mean, for Walks to be back there, it allows those players to be more present in their position without being stretched thin and not being back to cover, because that was what lent itself to such.
And you know what? I'll tell you why I'm not nervous about this game, because this is the last Bobby Dodd game.
Fucking right.
There's your unknown quotient right there. Bring Dom all day long. It's going to be loud.
Oh, it's going to be.
All you people listening and watching, you need to be loud. Bring it. This game's been sold out for a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's true.
People have been trying to find tickets for 2 weeks.
It's going to be
me up dude, you got tickets? I'm a month ago, all the good tickets went away. So,
you want to go?
Do you have a ticket? Let me get back to you.
Okay, I think we got.
That doesn't look like a get back to you answer.
Tim, would you just hit the light for a second?
That doesn't look like I'll get back to you.
I can't let my co-host not go to the last game at
That'd be
Dodd.
fucking awesome. Let me check with the wife.
I'll get front to you.
So I think that's an interesting point, because we do need to bring it. And
I think the crowd will be 120%
with Dwyer
involved.
just flipping into this, their communication is really going to be pretty key.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing with our defense, with all 6 of them to work together. And I think the hardest thing for us to do is, because we are so dynamic, is to have guys in position.
Well, that's the thing. We're so reliant on our attacking players to play defensively.
Yeah.
And so it's not all up to our back line either, because of the style we play.
Exactly.
If Assad's having a bad day, if he's not getting on ball, if he's not tracking back, we get punished. We can get hurt. That's when LGP then gets out of line. It's all like a puzzle.
It's because,
everything shifts.
Our wingers are so bombing up all the time. It's all about the communication with that center forward. And because they've been playing together for so long, thank God, that the noise shouldn't be as a hindrance to them, because of their innate chemistry already.
Dude, you can hear Guzan across a minefield, bro. He's yelling. The other keeper's on the other side. We're like, what?
No kidding.
What's he yelling?
I love his attitude. Just kind of poking the Orlando, the wall that they have there. Just smiling at them, giving him
with his weird tongue.
Yeah, the weird cigar tongue.
Bite out is this the ball I should use? Or is that the ball? Which ball? Yeah, no, that was funny. That's dude, I've had bottles thrown at my head in Central America. The wall.
So we got some comments from the YouTube channel. The _wavy1. If Mears starts ATL, I don't even need to read the rest of that comment. I don't think Mears starts the rest of the season over Walks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was hearing takes. I want to say it was from Mouths of the South, maybe talking about how they were going to bring Mears back in after the break.
I think maybe we see Mears show up.
Nope.
In September, just because of workload.
Nope, because guess what? We have 3 right backs that are better than Tyrone Mears. It goes Anton Walks, and then it goes Mark Bloom, and then it goes Zach Lloyd.
Right on. I agree.
And then I would.
How do you know Zach Lloyd?
And then I'd put Almiron right back.
I barely didn't see anything of Zach Lloyd. I mean, outside the open cup.
Yeah. And he was awesome that first half. I was like, finally.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think I gotta hold my judgment on Zach Lloyd.
But that said, I think Tim, to your point, I think Bloom maybe would.
I would even invert the wing backs,
and I would put Guzan and put him on the right.
I don't think for the salary that Mears is getting paid this season that we don't see him again before the end.
I would put
and I would
Mikey
see him
Ambrose
in September.
I would put Mikey Ambrose at right back before I'd put Tyrone Mears back in the game. And Mikey Ambrose is a left back.
All right. So thoughts. We talked about Dwyer. What other thoughts going into? First of all, I think we all overshot a little bit going into that Orlando game last week. We all thought it was going to be. Yeah, I think it was 3-1 across the board.
4-1. 3-1.
Yeah, it's funny. Tata went. He's gone Mourinho.
You shut your mouth with that stuff. I don't want to hear it.
So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we got one more question. Sorry.
Yeah,
Jay Surveillance has been bugging us about this, and I keep forgetting.
Oh, I'm going to ask him about the tifo for this week.
No, not this week.
I see you.
What you guys' thoughts were on the Walking Dead Negan tifo?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I definitely laughed.
Inciting violence to other fans.
Okay.
Oh, let's settle down, Tifo police.
All right.
Listen, if it was not Orlando.
Hey, what I just said previously about you going Saturday, no longer.
I'm going to be the last person to be the Tifo police because, some of the concepts that I've seen come across the board in the Tifo team on our side. But I thought it was creative, and I can't reveal anything. All I can say is that maybe it will address the tifo. Maybe it won't. If it doesn't,
we got 2 games.
Then there's another game. So either way, I don't think you'll be disappointed, and because it's the last game of Bobby Dodd. So there's going to be a celebration of that in some way, and I just think it's going to kick off. It's just going to kick off on Saturday. I thought Friday was gonna be lit, but they have no 45,000 fans, bro.
Saturday. I mean, I'm a little depressed that demolition hasn't started on that west end zone, and I'm really depressed to not see. Or I guess that would be the.
Is this the architect talking?
That'd be
south end zone.
No, it'd be north end zone because west would be my side.
Oh yeah, you're right. I sit in the south.
Yeah,
I face the city. Yeah.
So north end zone demolition hasn't started yet.
Demolition?
I'm a little.
They're tearing it down.
Well, they're going to be doing construction over there. I haven't seen anything to indicate that's begun. I'm a little disappointed they wouldn't open up that extra 10,000 seats just for this last game at least. But nonetheless,
I see what you're talking about. So what you're talking about is the section behind the supporter section that was closed.
Correct. It's been closed since the second game.
Even after they finished?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that said, I think Saturday will be raucous. It's going to be intense.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta closes out Bobby Dodd. I mean, Atlanta United selling out. I mean, you want to talk about playing second fiddle to another team. I mean, as much as we open up the show about Atlanta United and the Atlanta Falcons and you're going to play second fiddle to the Atlanta Falcons, whatever. Atlanta United went into Bobby Dodd and took that shit over. Like, that is the Georgia Tech Stadium.
Sorry, Georgia Tech.
And single-handedly.
This is no longer your stadium.
You
were forever just hanging out there.
In 21 weeks at Bobby Dodd has sold out more games at Bobby Dodd than Georgia Tech has probably in the past 8 years.
I think it's like the history.
I would love to talk to people that are living in those frat houses, stuff like that, up and down that road. Just how what it's been from did they have any clue what was going to go down to now it's going to all go away? I mean, because that's bringing in some, prime traffic there coming through there, and I see the beer pong tables out and they're all having a good time. And so, I mean, they're losing that whole atmosphere every Saturday or so forth. So if anybody lives in that area, it'd be interesting to hear from them.
All right. So predictions going into this week. We were way off last week. We're well over time. We're about an hour and 20.
Are we going to overcompensate?
So, I'm not. So I'll open it up. I'm going to say 2-1 Atlanta. Close out Bobby Dodd.
Hold on,
let me get my notepad.
Dom or Kyle?
Where's my notepad? Is this
do we have a name like when they combine?
Podcast own goal.
Where's my notepad at?
When they
is that really me?
Yeah. When they combine, was it Bradgelina? How do we combine Dom and Laren? We have to figure out. Work on that, people.
I was gonna say Con, but there's
that's taken.
Yeah. No, like a convict, like you got a DUI or something.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, that's reaching.
All right, so I'm gonna say 2-1 Atlanta.
I don't see Con in his eyes.
I'm going to go for there's too much there's too much hype around this game. It cannot live up to my expectations. So I'll just go for a shitty 1-1 draw.
That's a good. I think that's a good call.
Jay,
the heat is on. I'm actually going to say. I'm going to say 3-1.
Damn it! You stole my thunder. I was going to say, yeah.
He
I'm right there
hasn't
with
told
you.
us who
Baby,
yet.
you can be you can be the lightning to my thunder.
Ooh, that would be a gut punch, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, if they came up and beat us 3-1.
Wow.
Wow. I say I say 3-1 Atlanta. Yeah, get your score predictions in on the YouTube chat or on Twitter or Facebook, wherever you're interacting with us on. We got some in here. Salman says 2-1 Atlanta. Obi-Wan Kenobi says 2-1 Atlanta. Liam says 1-1 Atlanta or Orlando. No, I'm just kidding.
So Atlanta scores first, and then Orlando scores.
Okay. Kevin Brown 2-0 Atlanta.
Surveillance says 2-2 draw as well.
Yeah. Joe Patrick says Uber for Laren.
Kyle Laren goes home.
They probably don't have Uber.
Dom holds his hair in the bathroom. Someone make that meme, yo.
The wavy one with probably the best point made all night, which would be fitting. Atlanta lost their first game at Bobby Dodd. Now we're gonna win the last game at Bobby Dodd.
Okay, I like.
Don't bring that voodoo shit in here.
According to my semicircle drawing and squiggly line.
I like that a lot. Any other thoughts before we close it out?
I don't know where an hour and 20 minutes went.
No kidding.
We went to oops time.
Whoa, yeah, no kidding.
Oops.
Yeah, we have.
Stay tuned for home.
So can I bring it all back? So Michael Parkhurst won MLS Defender of the Year in 2007. Was the runner-up in 2014. He won the Gold Cup in 2013, 2007, and played for Nordsjælland between the 08 and 2012 seasons.
And Nordsjælland has
played in a turf field. It all comes back together.
Full circle. Well
Gonna
done,
blow
dude.
my
I love
ears
it.
So real quick, I have to bring this up. Bob Bradley.
Bald Bradley,
the new LAFC coach, announced.
Yeah.
Is this Bob MLS Bob.0 now? Is this like, is this a new? We've reached like a total sideways level, like because it's not going backwards, but it's not. I don't know. Is it going forward? I mean, Swansea supporters, how you feel about it?
Yeah, no kidding. Austin Harris says, "Is it halftime of the show yet?" No, but just due to the inclement weather, it is 90 degrees.
Listen, we're not leaving until I drink all the Coke Zero because that shit is going away, people. Go buy all the Coke Zero. Hoard it. We don't know what's happening.
Rules and regulations state that we must have a water break. We have a rehydration break every 20 minutes.
So
we should do that one night.
I'm psyched.
What's your magic die say? Don't you use that to make special predictions?
Do D20 here.
Well, Bob Bradley.
It's gonna be 8, 12.
The Demogorgon.
Demogorgon comes second half, wipes the field. All right. Thanks for checking us out, guys. You can find all of us all over the internet. Jay, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, guys.
Where can they find you at on Twitter?
I feel so blessed.
Thanks, Jay.
Where can they find you at online?
Oh, at JAY_Riddle, RIDDLE. You can find me there. I live there.
And the faction, right?
Come at me, bro.
Always out there at the faction
Come at me,
tailgate.
bro. Yeah, and we'll be out there on Saturday. Come on by. The Soccer Down Here guys will be broadcasting a Facebook Live video. Jason Longshore and John Nelson before he does his 92.9 cast of the game. So stop on by. We'd love to see you. Don't be afraid of the caution tape. We haven't electrified it yet.
Yeah, but they have peed on it, right?
Pee test.
Just to make sure. Is this electrified? I'm going to pee on it just to make sure.
People, it's not to keep people out. It's to protect you guys from all of us plastic fans. We don't want us wandering into your tailgate. So
and polluting the ocean.
That's right.
So, Tim, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Tim Herb.
Daniel.
Just have to say, Jay, you're an Arsenal fan, I heard.
I am a gunner.
So I wanted to wear my Birmingham City shirt just for you.
It's
when we
tasty.
beat you in the League Cup and then probably got relegated.
I was gonna say.
But it doesn't matter. It's like the Little Giants. It's that one time.
You guys had that like 6'8" Serbian guy. What was his name?
Nikola Zukic.
Nikola Zukic.
Yeah. But
Birmingham was about as relevant at the end of the season as Liverpool was, right?
I'll tell you though.
I'm pretty sure that was the season Gerrard slipped and we lost the title.
Got him.
Rigged.
Rigged.
But being an Arsenal fan has
I think I have tetanus now. I cut myself on
prepared
this
me
chair.
so well to be such a good Atlanta United fan because I've watched so much sexy football and lose games that it's just so good to see our guys play dysfunctional, things go sideways, and pull out results.
Just pull out
That's what
every
I'm
time.
talking
Just
about.
pull out every time.
I don't
I've
know.
had too many
Jay,
seasons of
Jay,
this nonsense.
I want to put this on record.
Keep
Fourth
pulling
place
out.
is not good enough for me.
I will beat a baby. We gotta get that 3, baby. Get to that 3.
Dan, where can they find you at on Twitter?
Find me at DNJMS.
You can find me as well at The Architect. That's at _ARC, the number 1 TECT. Collectively at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. We love the hell out of you guys. Be sure to leave 5 stars and/or a review on iTunes. We'll see you next week. As always, be home before dark.
Tito Magelba!